club's first Black president. And this is the first Black exhibition we're having at the Scarab Club. Talk to me about those firsts and how important.
Yes, we're excited about both firsts. I, came to the club initially just as an artist interested in the photography club, and enjoyed myself, kept coming, and eventually was asked to join the board. That was in 2014. And then in 2018, I was voted in as the board president. So it seemed very organic. I really love the club and am very happy to be in this position right now. And this show that we have right now, The Souls of Black Folk, last summer, our curator, Donna Jackson, she submitted a proposal for this show. And it happened at around the same time that I drafted a Black Lives Matter statement for the club, saying that we stood in solidarity with it. And obviously there were a lot of conversations in the organization about how can we be, part of the solution and not part of the problem. So at the point that we received this submission, and it being centered on W.E.B. Du Bois' book, The Souls of Black Folk, and how it is to be Black in America, and the relevancy of it here 100 years later, just as relevant now, it was a perfect pairing to have this show at the Scarab Club during Black History Month.
Yeah, and again, the first exhibition of its kind at the Scarab Club, a place that has such a rich history in the city. I have to say, I was surprised to learn that this was the first exhibition like this at Scarab.
Yes, I think we all kind of wanted to say, is that really the case? But it is, and I think that the stars just all aligned for it to happen this year. I think in organizations like ours, there can be a tendency to kind of keep doing what we've always done. And perhaps in other years, this wasn't necessarily seen as quite the priority it was seen as this year. And, whatever way we come about it, we're just happy for it to happen and want to see more of this as an organization.
Yeah. Taurus Burns, you are one of the contributors to this exhibit. Tell us about your contribution and your relationship with the Scarab.
I like the Scarab Club. I've been going there for years, and I think they're a great institution. They support the arts and up-and-coming artists, and I really enjoy going to the figure drawing classes when they're active. Obviously, we can't do that now, but it's a great institution. And I think what Mariuka was saying about this being the first exhibition of its kind, it's kind of shocking that this is happening in 2021. You're like, what's taking so long? But at the same time, I think it really reflects the changing tide in America. Even in my last 20 or so years in Detroit, when I was first starting out, there was less interest in what Black artists had to say about the Black experience. I time and time again, I would get the response like, it's not like that anymore. So, kind of, what are you doing? You know what I mean? But it's really refreshing that there's more interest in the Black voices and what Black artists have to say. So I was really excited to be invited into this show. I remember as a young man reading the quotes by W.E.B. Du Bois about two-ness and double consciousness, and they really resonated with me at that time. It was very clear to me at a young age that my life was really being defined by race, because of the experiences I was having out in the world, and even in my own family. I am biracial, so I've got white and Black family, but there was even experiences of racism within my family. So that was something that really bothered me, and something that I've spent, I think, most of my adult life coming to terms with and trying to figure out. So the piece that I submitted to the show, actually, I felt like it fit really well with Du Bois's just his eloquent statements about double consciousness. My piece is called Black and White Thinking. It's a very personal. It's a self-portrait, and it's in a way, in many ways, disturbing, but it's meant to be. You see the picture of me, basically in death, laying on a gurney, and two pathologists are performing an autopsy to determine my cause of death. And then in the piece, you see the top of my skull is opened up and my brain is exposed. And it's been so transformed by living in the society that half of it is Black and half of it is white. And I really feel like this piece deals with the effect of racism, living in a racist society, the effect that has on our mental health and our well-being and the challenges that we face, and coming to terms with this. So that's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, it is a really wonderful piece, but it is, as you say, a pretty jarring piece too. I mean, it really does startle you when you first look at it. And it's really great to hear your explanation of it, which makes me even more interested.
Thanks. And one other thing I'll say about it is, I think sometime last year I was listening to a program and I heard a therapist talk about the concept of Black and white thinking and how that's a hallmark of depression. And while they weren't specifically talking about race, I really felt like it really related to dealing with race and just the impact on our mental health and how it can lead to depression. And obviously there's a lot of issues in the Black community, like how to deal with the stress and the pressure and all of that. So it's an important issue to talk about, and maybe that's another conversation, but I really wanted to kind of touch on that with this piece that I have in the show.
Yeah. Mariuka, talk about how this piece fits in with the other parts of the exhibition and the other things that people will see if they show up to take in the exhibition.
Well, I really found Taurus's explanation interesting. I found the piece compelling when I saw it, and now I feel even more so compelled by it. But I think the one thing that a viewer would find in the show is obviously our Black experience is not monolithic, and every artist brought with them their experience or their piece of the experience that they wanted to bring for this show. And so it includes kind of the breadth of the Black experience, the highs, the lows, and everything in between. I really liked Philip Simpson's piece that is a very hopeful piece of Stacey Abrams, which is a really striking piece. Sydney Camp, beautiful piece of people in the park. We have artists Yvette Rock, Mandisa Smith, Sabrina Nelson, Carl Wilson, and each of them brought kind of a slice of Black America to the table. And one nice thing about the curator, Donna Jackson's, her website, it has a link to all of the artists, their pieces, and also an explanation of what that piece is. And so you're able to just go on there and get to see the explanations that really even make it much more powerful than it is visually. And it is very powerful visually. When I first saw it, I happened to be in the club by myself, and I got a chance to take the time and look at each one, which is something I don't often get to do because usually when I'm at openings, I'm talking. So I just was very, very emotionally moved at just taking the time to look at each piece and be with it. But reading the explanations just opens it up even more so. So it's definitely a show that you don't want to miss. I'm glad that it was extended and that it is going to be up now until March 20th. So that will give more people time to see it. But no matter what your background is, it is a very valuable show and something that you don't want to miss.
Yeah. So through March 20th at the Scarab Club.
Yes.
And it is the first all Black exhibition, but it will not be the last. I'm certain.
No, it will not be the last. We want to have more exhibitions like this, more opportunities for Black curators and artists. Perhaps in the past, some curators were hesitant to submit proposals to the Scarab Club, but we welcome all submissions, all people of color, Black people. We want to have, we want to be able to relate to everyone in their experiences artistically. So this is something that we're aiming for. On the board side, as the board president, obviously I'm always thinking about the organization in that way, but we're working on our first diversity, equity and inclusion policy. And that's something that I want to be my legacy when I come off the board, which I do at the end of June. I want that to stand in place, and so that we're thinking about diversity in every area of our organization, governance, hiring, our programming, that it's always something that's just baked into our thinking, and so that we can carry on with programming like this on into our future.